Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. I wanted to share with you a meal from when I was young that my mom used to make. Today's just one of those days I feel like I needed a meal from when I was young, kind of a comfort food I guess, but one of the things that she made was salmon patties made from canned salmon. So I'm going to be making some of those and sharing, not her recipe, but a different one, but I still have fond memories of mom making canned salmon patties. But she made the salmon patties with some cornbread, macaroni and cheese, mashed potatoes. She always added in some green peas, which I never liked those when I was little, so I'm not making green peas. Excuse me. But in this video, you'll see right here where I am greasing my cast iron skillet just like she did. This was actually her cast iron skillet. I have lots of good memories of her and making cornbread in this skillet. Now, half of the time I will heat up my skillet in the oven with some bacon grease. Sometimes I do it just like she did, just grease up the pan. I've got my oven preheating and I'm mixing up my cornmeal and my egg and milk and oil right now. This recipe should have been a little bit bigger. My cornbread turned out just a little bit thin, you'll see at the end of the video. But I preheated my oven to 400. I'm mixing up my cornmeal. You'll see that I used eggs. You only need one egg, but all I had available was double yolked eggs. So this recipe got one double yolk egg, and you only need one egg. I could have used a little bit more cornmeal and milk to make the cornbread loaf a little bit bigger. But anyway, it turned out delicious. Now I'm going to get that can of salmon out. This was the brand that my mom used when I was young. Now there's a lot of controversy on whether you are to take the bones out or leave the bones in when you're making your salmon patties. Now, my mom always took the bones out. My mother-in-law took the bones out, so that's just how I learned to do it. I'm a part of a few Facebook groups who will argue back and forth whether or not to take the bones out of a canned salmon, but I do take the bones out and I take the black skin off, as much of it as I can. Now you may leave yours on and leave the bones in, whatever you like. You do what makes you happy. But this was my first experience ever with eating salmon, was when my mom made salmon patties. Now, funny story is, when I was growing up, this was the only salmon that I knew about for years and years. I guess I just didn't pay attention, or I don't know. When I went to the grocery store, I just didn't look in the seafood section. At that time, I knew it was out of my budget to really buy anything seafood wise, so I never really looked in the fish aisle or the freezer part or in the fresh fish part of the deli or the meat counter in the back. But I never knew that a actual fresh salmon fillet was a thing. So that's something I learned long after I was married, that you could buy and grill salmon fillets, which are absolutely delicious and wonderful and yummy. But nothing beats those childhood meals that your mom made. And I go back to these. We have these probably once a month. I'll make some fried salmon patties. But right now I'm getting the bones out, and I took some of that skin off. It's funny what you learn as you get older and things you didn't realize. We weren't by no means poor, but we were not able to buy fresh seafood and things like that when we were little. But when I finally did make my own fresh salmon fillet, I realized what I had been missing out on, and my kids really liked it too. So I'm just squishing up the salmon, trying to feel for any the little bones that I might have missed. You guys let me know what you do, if you take the bones out or not. But I usually take them out, or always take them out. Now this recipe that I'm going to share with you is one that I've learned from a few different people. Now I'll tell you that my mom only used cornmeal in hers. Excuse me. She used the salmon like you see here, all smushed up from the can, and then all she added to hers was cornmeal only, and that's how that my mother fixed our salmon patties when we were young. But I ate a few other people's salmon patties who made them differently, and that was kind of what I preferred, was a different method. Now I'm going to put some flour, egg, crackers, and oatmeal in this recipe that I'm going to show you. Right now I'm just going to put in a little bit of flour to get it going, and an egg. And you only need one egg for this, but all I have, like I said before, was double yolked eggs. So that's what's getting put in here. So that made it a little moister than what it needed to be. So I put the egg in there, I put some flour, I'm putting some salt and pepper. You just do that to your own taste. And I always get my pan preheated before I put the salmon patties in there, so that when you get done making your salmon patties and you put them in the oil, they begin to sizzle. So now I've got. This is also a good way to use up some of your crackers. Maybe they might not be so fresh. These are just some leftover crackers that I had. I'm just going to crunch them up and put them in the salmon. And I don't really remember who all share their salmon recipes with me. I know that my mother-in-law made something similar to this, and hers are really good. She was a really good cook too. I learned a lot from her in my younger years of how to make different things that I had never made before. My mom had a very simple palate when we were growing up. We just kind of had the same things over and over. And of course she had 4 kids to feed, and her and my dad, so I guess the budget was kind of tight, and so it wasn't really a huge variety of food, but we always had food. I'm putting some more flour into my mixture. I think that putting the double yolked eggs in there made it a little bit moister than what I was used to working with. So you just stir it all in, stir it all together. I'm going back to get some more flour because it is a little bit more moist than what I'm used to making. Sometimes I do this. I get the hankering for things that I had when I was young, and I'll get in the kitchen and make it to the best I can to be most like Mom's. Now here you're going to see me get some quick cook oats and put in there. That's all that I had. Now my mother-in-law used a packet of instant oats like you buy in the box with the little packets where you just mix them in hot water or cook them in the microwave like that. Usually just one packet of those is all you need, but this was all I had for this recipe today. Alright, so my pan's got warm, and I am just going to start scooping up the salmon mixture about the size of a large egg on my spoon, and then I just put it over in the oil and pat it out a little bit, get a little bit flatter. And usually 1 can of salmon will make about 7 or 8 salmon patties. And that's usually good for us when it's just us eating. For me and my husband and my son. Now if I'm cooking for someone else, I usually will make a double batch using 2 cans of salmon. I guess if I made the salmon patties smaller, I would have more, but I like them about this size. Here's just to speed up them frying. I didn't want to bore y'all with them fryings at a regular speed. You just fry them until they're golden brown on the bottom. I think my stove is set on about medium temperature. And yes, here I am going to use some boxed macaroni. Homemade from scratch macaroni is my absolute favorite. But like I said, when I was young, this is a meal that Mom made, and so she always bought the box, so I thought I would have some with this. So here is the salmon patties after they have fried on both sides to a golden brown. Here's my cornbread out of the oven. If you've got a well-loved, well-seasoned iron skillet and you make your cornbread, it's going to fall out of the pan just like this. A nice golden crust. That's really good. I think that's the best. My favorite part of cornbread is the crust. So I'm going to go ahead and make my plate. I don't always eat cornbread and butter like this. I know that's not healthy, but probably about once a week we'll have something like this. Excuse that sound. That's my back door. Apparently wasn't shut well, and it's kind of squeaking in the wind. But I've got a salmon patty, cornbread, my boxed macaroni and cheese, and I had also made some mashed potatoes. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know how you make your salmon, and if you like boxed macaroni or not. But I thank you for watching. Please consider liking and subscribing. Comment and let us know what your favorite childhood meals were. And I hope you enjoy.